Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the IG Arena in Nagoya. In a few moments, we'll start the competition for ice dance free dance. During the event, as a courtesy to our skaters, we kindly ask that you please refrain from flash photography and video camera lighting. And our official line account is now available. Please check it out. So get ready. The ISU Grand Prix of Figure Skating Final 2025 is coming up. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome to Nagoya, Japan, and the final day of competition for the Senior Grand Prix. Nagoya is a city of just 2.3 million people, and they've been so wonderful in hosting this special ISU event in the Olympic season. I'm Ted Barton along with Mark Hanratty, and we are about to see the Senior Free Dance. Such an exciting program. Mark is nerve-wracked because it is so much enjoyment in these incredible athletes as we take a look at the Nagoya Palace here in Nagoya.
Yes, looking ahead to the conclusion of the ice dance event, and it is particularly exhilarating and exciting, of course, because it is the Olympic season, and I think it is even more heightened in the ice dance event because we are seeing athletes at the culmination of their career. There are many teams here who are in their 30s, and thus the likelihood of their continued progression beyond the 2026 Olympic Games isn't as high. And so there are so many that, of course, all want to come out on top with the sand timer of their competitive career running out.
And this event, of course, is important to set the stage for the Olympics. It has no bearing on what happens at the Olympic Games or the World Championship the rest of the season at all. But Mark, you know, for the fans that are listening and watching from around the world, why is this an important competition right now? Well, for these athletes?
This Grand Prix final is the opportunity for all of the top teams in the world to come head to head. We had 6 Grand Prix assignments in the series leading up to this, and now everybody, the best of the best, coming up against one another. Now, in 2021, 2022, the last Olympic cycle, I believe the Grand Prix final didn't take place because of COVID. When we rewind to the Olympic cycle prior to that, the results of the Grand Prix final there flip-flopped by the time of the Olympic Games. Guillaume Cizeron, Gabriela Papadakis won in 2017, but then dropped to second when it came to the Olympics in 2018. So whilst we assume that what happens here will indicate what could happen in Milan, it's not a guarantee.
Now, this is an important competition for the athletes because of the arena, because of the environment, because of the excitement, because you only get that, you cannot get that anywhere else other than the Olympic Games or a moment like this. You can't simulate it, you can't practice it, you've got to be in that event, and you have to be in that arena. Like here, it's full, and it's well lit, it's exciting, the presentation is outstanding, and the moment is now.
So true, as we see the starting order for this free dance. And whilst we have acknowledged the maturity and the seasoned campaigners that are about to take to the ice, all of that experience doesn't deny the fact that there will be an abundance of nerves in each of the 12 skaters that are about to perform. And perhaps, even though they have all experienced this kind of caliber of event before, it is not enough of a regular occurrence to quash the anxieties of the performances to come.
As we take a look at the officials for this event, now Mark, just speak to the fans a little bit about what would be fatal in regards to a mistake here.
Of course, in ice dance, any fall will have gigantic repercussions negatively. The judges that we see the list of on screen will be forced, should there be a fall, to give mandatory -5 grades of execution if it happens in an element. And it will, of course, also affect the second mark, the program component scores. However, in ice dance, it is less common to see such visible mistakes. So thus, we really need to see energy and commitment and attack in the free dances that we're about to see performed. The competition is so close that caution and safe playing will not be enough to take gold.
How do nerves come into effect here? It can shorten the depth of edge, perhaps, make the blade a little bit shaky if the nerves come in. Still great performances, still great athletes, but those nerves have to be under control.
The nerves, they are what can curtail the depth of the knee and the ankle bends. When the nerves overtake the skater, they rise up in their knees, and that will kill the speed. And speed is an absolute prerequisite for success in ice dance.
As the drums get us started in the introduction to the first group in the senior free dance, and the excitement begins to build here in Nagoya. We know that the athletes have experienced this backstage. They hear these drums and they know they're about to be announced to the audience, and it becomes real. Emilia, Zingas, and Vadim from the United States, the first team out. Calmly walking to the rink. We've seen different types of presentations coming out from the LED screens onto the ice. And our next team representing Lithuania, Allison Reed and Saulius Abu-Levisi. Representing Great Britain, Lilah and Gibson. Calmly walking to the ice, Mark.
Yes, a measured response from Lilah and Gibson. Such brilliant performance, but they would have far rather found themselves in the top flight. They eager to have medals at the Grand Prix final.
You can see the size of the audience here in this building and the excitement. A wonderful, educated, intelligent, and very supportive audience in Japan for all the athletes, not just those that represent their country.
And ice dance, this discipline hasn't garnered this host nation with as much success as they've enjoyed in the singles and the pairs disciplines, but they're so knowledgeable that during the junior dance, there was appreciation for so many of the elements which are perhaps a little less spectacular than that of the pairs and single skaters. As we see Emilia Zingas, who is partnered with Vadim Kolesnik. This team, the somewhat surprise package this season, making their way into the top 6 teams in the world for this big Grand Prix final.
They are very impressive. The speed in which they cover the ice, the quickness of their movement. They've been so impressive this season. That's why they're here.
And they bring a true freshness to the sport and to the discipline. Emilia Zingas, within the last Olympic cycle, was competing at world level as a single skater, and so much of that education and that energy has given them a different source of attack than we've seen from some of the other more seasoned campaigners who have had ice dance as part of their education for longer. Emilia and Vadim, though, in the rhythm dance, had some controversial calls. They'll be looking for more success in their free dances. We look now to Allison and Saulius and a team that they too, much like Emilia and Vadim, in their debut at the Grand Prix final, delighted to have made the top 6 teams. And that largely built upon their earlier debut competitively this season, forced to compete earlier than they would have perhaps anticipated because they had to secure their Olympic spot at the Olympic qualifier in Beijing in September. And now for Allison and Saul, it's perhaps a little bit more about self-preservation, keeping injuries at bay, having been on the go for longer thanks to that earlier start. And they're the record-breaking British champions, Lilah and Lewis Gibson, winning 8 national titles, overpassing the number of British championship titles than the legends Jane Torval and Christopher Dean. And they, as I mentioned, would have far preferred to find themselves in the top 3 after the rhythm dance. They were 3rd last year at the Grand Prix final in Grenoble in France. But they don't find themselves too far adrift of the Canadians.
Yeah, we just like to encourage the viewers from around the world to pick your favorite performance and see how close that comes to the actual results, because it's very difficult to know all the small little details that will happen and that are judged throughout this free dance. But you'll get a feel for what you enjoyed the most and just see how well that's matched to the sport aspect of it.
Yeah, and we will be treated to very wide and diverse stylistic choice throughout the free dance. Somewhat unsurprisingly, you will guess that Lilah and Lewis Gibson, based on the tartan shoes that he wears, will be giving an homage to Lewis's home country. He, Scottish born and bred, and that the motivation to choose the music that will accompany them to their second Olympic experience.
And what is your accent?
I, too, am a wee bit Scottish.
Yes, a wee bit. Here we go. Yeah, it's one of the great things about ice dancing is it is like a variety show. And if you remove yourself, at least from a viewer, away from the sport aspect of it, because that's difficult and that's detailed, and just enjoy the performance, this is one of the most, if not the most exciting discipline, that's for sure. But it is also a sport, and there's a lot of detail that the judging panel and the technical panel will be investigating and watching in great interest, with great interest, in great detail throughout this program. So know that the sport aspect has been measured very, very closely. Your job as a viewer, just enjoy.
Yes, even the ice dancers themselves are conscious that the vast array of rules and regulations are sometimes a little bit difficult to interpret, and the skaters also desperate to secure the high levels. And in regards to how we differentiate these teams from a technical element score perspective, then levels in the steps and levels in the 1-foot turns will play a big part in results as the competition unfolds.
You saw just in the last few moments the skaters just skating hand in hand around the rink. There's no more warm-up of technical elements, just getting a feel for the environment, getting their heart rate down as the other 2 teams step off the ice to go backstage to wait when the first team takes to the ice. So there's so much more going on than just what we see on the ice backstage, waiting for your turn as we get introduced to the first team representing the United States of America. Emilia, Zingas, and Vadim Kolesnik.
And Zingas and Kolesnik started to have rumors about their brilliance at the beginning of this series on the Challenger Series. They were second at the Kanoshta Cup, and that was where people started to discuss the amazing advancement of this young American team.
And they will skate to Romeo and Juliet. Well, Mark, this team is quick, agile, precise, and you mentioned before their work ethic and the amount of program run-throughs each day, and this was incredibly delivered here in Nagoya.
Yes, America's Emilia Zingas and Vadim Kolesnik to me, are the absolute future of ice dance. It's surprising to some regard that they had made the Grand Prix final, such as the conventional norm in ice dance that you have to wait your turn to ascend the rankings. But Emilia and Vadim totally, not just, I believe, justify their position as one of the top 6 teams, but skating like that as they just have should really put them in contention for medals in this illustrious field. They are so strong and so athletic, but their dynamism is still refined. They're still clean and crisp with their movement, despite the energy in which they commit to each of the extensions.
They skated so close throughout that program and so detailed, not a hand, not an arm, not a free leg out of place. It was simply brilliant on this night.
And I think this, you know, the Romeo and Juliet piece, it's a warhorse piece that has been conventionally used, but it's a great framework for an Olympic year, and I thought they did a remarkable job. And even in these slow-mo replays, you can see the commitment to the length of extension. Look at that left forward outside edge from Vadim. They make big shaping so athletic, more so than this. The difference that we see in ice dance for a team like this, as opposed to those teams that had a pattern dance and a compulsory dance education. They're less restricted in their movement. It's bigger, it is bolder, and I think it is very much the future. Here, the stationary lift, showcasing the strength from Vadim, not just on one foot, but lifting his head back. As we look now to the choreographic character step, opportunity within this element to try to push towards maximum grades of execution. Well, disappointment for this team in the rhythm dance with the deductions that they incurred. But I think this outing yet again cements them as very likely candidates for the US Olympic team, which will be decided.
Well, they have a 117.83, just a few points shy of their season's best. They are the first team out in this event with a 193.61. And they look pretty happy with that score. They should be with that performance. No question about that. Much more to come from this team. A very, very bright future. Our next team represents Lithuania, Allison Reed and Saulius Ambrodovicius.
Representing Lithuania, Allison Reed.
And Allison and Saul have had such success with this free dance, Faithless, the track, and with this they have beaten Piper and Paul and Lilah and Lewis already this season. The track god is a DJ.
This is my church. This is where I heal my hurts. It's in natural grace, or watching young life shape. It's in minor keys, solutions and remedies. Enemies becoming friends when bitterness ends. This is my church.
Stationary lift and rotational lift igniting an appreciation from the audience.
This is my church. This is where I heal my hurts. This is my church. This is where I heal my hurts. This is my church. There is a DJ. All the subtle flavors of my life have become bitter seeds and poison leaves without you. You represent what's true. I drain the color from the sky and turn blue without you. These arms lack a purpose, flapping like a hummingbird. I'm nervous cause I'm the left eye, you're the right. Would it not be madness to fight? We can't run.
Tight through the twizzles. Great musical phrasing continues. Allison Reed and Saulius celebrating a team that has utterly locked in and united this year. After the disappointment of last season's World Championships, they immediately set to work, and I feel that they have rallied and united together more than ever, and this free dance, a perfect vehicle for them to separate themselves a little from all of the other teams this year.
I was just about to say, perhaps the most unique choice of music and approach amongst these 6 teams. It's different, rhythmic, modern, and engaging.
Yeah, and I think for Allison and Saul, they haven't been contenders for medals, and I don't think that was ever a consideration necessarily for them this season, but this vehicle separates them and makes them, well, engage an audience. And you know, thinking of their future, they have, with this, made themselves very, very visible to the Japanese fans, of which there are more performance opportunities professionally to come.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, the Japanese fans are awesome, but they're usually a little bit more quiet, but they just love this dance, they love this team, and they brought energy into the building.
And I know that Allison's, you know, nursing a hip injury that she's had to keep at bay, but you would never have sensed it from the performance that has just been delivered. And I was conscious, Ted, as we watched this, the rotational lift, there were lots of moments subtly between Allison and Saul where they just really looked connected and united. There was unity between them here. It's not extroverted in its presentation on occasion, but it's more a way in which for us to engage into the team. Twizzles were later in the program. I didn't know if there was a little break there for Allison, although fortunately the Twizzles have come in as a level 4 for both. No loss of level. As we see this, their choreographic spinning movement, 3 choreographic elements that the teams must use, and this, their last, a choreographic lift. And interestingly, to become one, I heard them joking in the kiss and cry about the extension of the fingers in that, and Allison wore range of flexibility and they didn't match. They've matched. That is the detail to which these teams are working.
Well, Mark, 120.07 is their season's best, and if they get a season's best here, that's that is a thrill for this team here in the Grand Prix final after a long season so far. 120.13. It is a new season's best. They're first at the moment with a total competition score of 199.61. They take the lead. What a great season they've had so far, and you talked about an early start with the qualifying event in Beijing earlier, got them on track right off the bat, and this season it seems to be paying off. Our next team represents Great Britain, Lilah and Lewis Gibson.
And Lilah and Lewis coming into the free dance, obviously in 4th place after the rhythm dance. They find themselves less than half a point adrift of the Canadians above them, wanting to close that gap with their free dance. Skating to the bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Difficult and bold choice of features in the stationary lift, leading in to the rotational lift. This, the step sequence, the midline step sequence, important to deliver those clean turns to up the level. Great change of pose through the curve lift. Here, the important 1-foot turns.
Well, the fans are on their feet here in Nagoya. Lilah and Louis Gibson never disappoint to entertain and energize the building. They brought their culture and heritage to life here in Nagoya.
And Lilah and Louis have been so popular in Japan now for so many seasons. They have gained attention and fanship with different vehicles, with Beyonce, with Lady Gaga. This completely different, but they have been utterly committed to the concept, and you could see through even the detail of their fingertips, their commitment to the stylization, paying homage to Louis's heritage. And this team does divide opinion a little bit, because they're not sort of conventional stylistically. They're not as clean-lined and long-limbed in the extensions as others. But what you can't dispute is that they are feisty and fiery with their commitment to the performance. And what was impressive here is that they skated with attack for a medal rather than being conservative.
But isn't that good to be different?
Absolutely. And well, that is what has garnered them potentially the most popularity, particularly in the non-ice dance community. And here we look back at the Twizzles, and here even the way in which they hold their hands on their hips, even the way in which Lilah assumes the position here with the connection between the middle finger and the thumb, that is applicable and appropriate. So from the composition and presentation scores, that's detail. Here, finishing the 1 foot turns with a backspin. Nobody does that. That in itself is unique and creative. That's a feature for the judges. That ticks boxes for better grades of execution. There again, that fingertip detail when the crowd was going nuts at the start of their choreographic character step sequence.
They're just a lot of fun to watch. Now there's the sport aspect, the technical panel. The judges have to deal with that detail, of course, and you as well. But from a fan, I'm a fan, and I just love watching this team. But it's a sport.
and in terms of the technical element score, they have been viewed very favorably with levels. So from a technical element score perspective, it's gone down well on the technical panel with level 3s on the midline step for Louis and 2s for Lilah.
125.86 is their season's best, and this score on this day is a new season's best of 126.26. That is first in the free dance, with a total competition score of 208.81 as they take the lead.
That certainly places pressure on Piper and Paul, who will open the next group.
Okay, they better get out of those seats, the leader seats. They're so supportive of each other. It's such a wonderful community of people who happen to skate. Here we get prepared for group number 2.
Yeah, well, in terms of the support of one another, the 4 of the teams in this Senior Grand Prix final train together at the Ice Academy of Montreal. They are all very mindful of what the others do.
But this team does not. Piper Gilles and Paul Poirier, they represent Canada. And representing France, Fournier Beaudry and Guillaume Cizeron. The current leaders after the rhythm dance and the current world champions from the United States of America, Madison Chock and Nevin Bates.
Skaters, please start your 5 minutes.
And Madison and Evan obviously coming out on top triumphant in the rhythm dance with the first time that they came up against Laurence and Guillaume internationally in competition. As I say, they train together, they see each other doing their run-throughs regularly, so they will know what the competition is like.
Okay, Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. All of these teams are remarkable. They really are. Now, we've seen the top 3 after the rhythm dance. What is it that the fans might be able to pick out that separates the teams that we've seen so far from the teams that we were about to see?
Well, ice dance, of course, we are going to be treated to a spectacle. And we're likely to see great levels of athleticism and artistry. What has commonly separated teams in ice dance events is quality of skating skills, speed, flow, and glide. That is, we look at past results, that, think back to previous Olympic champions. I was watching Olympic ice dance this morning, different results from previous Olympics, and that's commonly the thread that separates.
Big question. All these teams are great skaters, there's no question, but can it change from event to event? They don't feel as well, it's slower, and it be seen and picked up?
Well, the fundamentals are less likely to shift. Laurence, Fournier Beaudry and Guillaume Cizeron, the team that we see now, have got such epic skating skills, and the neural pathways in athletes' bodies, they've got habitual movement. So they've already got a very honed stylistic technique, and that's what has got these top 6 teams in the world to this place. They've got the best skating skills. To differentiate the teams, though, who goes deeper into their knees and ankles, who makes each stroke and stride of the ice longer to glide more. And that, to me, is what has previously, at least, separated the best from the rest. Madison and Evan, though, have found themselves at the top of the World Championship podium for the last 3 years in a slightly different way. The way in which they have been so successful is unique concepts. We have seen from Madison and Evan kind of bizarre, unconventional choices. They've inhabited the snake charmer theme on previous years. They've been an alien in other years. They've gone off grid with unique free dance choices. This year it's a matador, it's the bull and the matador, and they've been together 15 years, and they consecutively and consistently create unique choices. Others haven't necessarily done that. Others have played safe. It's been said before of previous champions that they've been safe players, and I've suggested, well, there's no prerequisite for the teams to choose novelty. It doesn't get you more points. It's more about what you commit with the material that you choose. And I really do admire Madison and Evan and their continued reincarnation and reinvention of themselves. That said, have they got enough quality now to beat this team? Now, Laurence and Guillaume just have such amazing quality of skating.
Is it fair to say that the difference between these teams is razor thin? Or you think there's a bigger gap?
I think Laurence and Guillaume do have the strongest skating, and I think that it will be a real challenge for them to beat. What Madison and Evan have to do is they need to tick the boxes for the positive features, for the grades of execution. They need to showcase all of the criteria the judges have to get +5 grades of execution. I don't think that they can be as competitive on a skating skills component score, but from a composition, they could take it.
And for sure, no one can make a mistake here.
Oh, mistakes? That's out of contention. Caution also will take teams out of contention. Piper and Paul.
See you after.
Say see you after to Coach Judas Razgalayev. They have just heard a really strong statement score from Lilah and Lewis. They're only half a point ahead. They can't let that inhibit their attack. They need to go out now and attack. They need to make sure that they are pushing for more flow and more speed. We see Madison and Evan just making sure that the final choreographic slide is okay. They've had issues with that in practices with falls by both. Falls, well, we just can't, well, I shouldn't even utter the words. Let's just remove that from the atmosphere.
And now we see in just the final few moments, all the teams just skating around the rink hand in hand or by themselves, calming themselves down, breaking their heart rate down, getting the feel for the audience, and start to build up towards their own performance as the other two teams will leave the ice. And we will get started in the second group here in the free dance, the Grand Prix final in Nagoya. And there are the handholds, the energy between two that need to skate as one, representing Canada, Piper and Gilles and Paul Poirier.
And Piper and Paul have been Grand Prix final champions previously, returning to previous material for their free dance this year, hoping to return to the form that has found them atop the podium in the past.
And they will skate to the beautiful sound of Vincent.
Starry, starry night, paint your brother blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day, with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils, catch the breeze and the winter chills, in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you try to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night. Starry, starry Now I think I know what you try to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never will. For they could not love you. Still your love was true. Now when no hope was left inside on that starry, starry night, oh, you took your life as lovers often do.
Well, as they hug at center ice mark, I noticed that you did not speak. Did they capture your heart and mind in the spell?
Well, throughout this Vincent free dance, I was conscious that there was description to be given on elements, but the way in which each element is interwoven and the way in which this is constructed, you don't want to interject with words. I love it. I love the music. I love the team as people, and I think it's a very special piece, and it's a very special vehicle for the team. It couldn't really be a starker contrast to Lilah and Lewis Gibson, and the audience took to their feet, but it was a much more measured approach as opposed to the rousing immediate reaction of the audience to the British team that went before them.
Well, naturally, because of the tempo of the music and the type of music, I think it put people in the spell. And of course, you know, Lilah and Lewis revved them all up. But that aside, there's the sport aspect here.
And to me, this team is so honed and matched. As I mentioned earlier, they benefit from the experience of being compulsory dance skaters from literally decades ago. They are clean and crisp and clear, layered with intensity of emotion. And what I must say in terms of the composition is the variation throughout. You can see at the start of their choreo character step, again, another aspect of the change in vibe and the change in energy as we look through the 1 foot turns. And interestingly, for the 1 foot turns, it's a level 3 and a level 2, which is important. Significantly, perhaps for Piper and Paul, their step sequence has a level 3 for both. So that, from a technical element score, is enhancing. Here, choreographic hydroglide movement, their choice of one of the choreographic elements, and you can't dispute a +4 or 5 for that at maximum grade of execution. Here, the curve lift, that's a change since the earlier part of the Grand Prix series, reverting to material that they've used before because they know it is reliable to push the judges to maximum. So there are occasions where creativity and originality is helpful, and then there are moments when returning to previous material is important. Here, what I love is the change of direction. Paul rotates in a clockwise direction for the rotational lift and then changes direction anti-clockwise for the stationary lift. It's so difficult to do, especially as the final element of an exhausting free dance.
Well, the scores between these two teams is ever so close, just about 3/10. Just about 3/10 from the rhythm dance.
Oh my goodness.
This is so incredibly close. Let's take a look.
Constantly changing, and not for the better, I think, for Piper and Paul, as the judges input more and more of the grades of executions to affect the total.
A new season's best, 125.86, but that is second in the free dance with a total competition score of 208.75. That will put them into second place with 2 teams to come. Will probably, most likely, move them off the podium.
6 100ths separate.
6 100ths of a point. That's how close it is. And the race continues towards the Olympic podium. Wow. Our next team represents France. Laurence Fournier Beaudry and Guillaume Cizeron.
Winners in Angers at the start of the Grand Prix series, winners at the end at the Finlandia Trophy. They have the highest free dance score this season, and they may need to repeat that again to win the title in Nagoya. Here already the depth and the clarity of the edges to open this program. traveling a little bit in the second part of the dance spin. They make the incredibly physically challenging and complex curve lifts look easy. Oh my goodness, absolute nightmare into the choreographic lift. Oh, wow. The plot absolutely thickens. Fournier Beaudry and Gilles Cizeron, representing France, were en route again to showcasing something utterly and incomprehensibly spellbinding. And then the final element incurs a fall.
And I had asked the question about big mistakes, which they did. But before that, I wrote, some cast a spell emotionally, others cast a spell of brilliance, which they do until that fall.
I cannot quite believe, you know, ice dance this season has been dramatic. We've been on a journey with the panels and the calls and, you know, the return of an Olympic champion with a new partner. It's been dramatic already. That somewhat freak fall with a catch of a toe pick by Laurence at the end of the program has only served to add more mystery and craziness to the melting pot of ice dance in this 2025-2026 season. Wow.
Well, this is the Grand Prix final. It is not the Olympic Games. There's time, a lot of time in preparation.
I mean, it doesn't mean, of course, the Olympic title is gone, but now, going into the Olympic title, I'd be surprised if now they will be Grand Prix final champions. I mean, we've still got a team to skate, so I shouldn't say anything, but that fall has to impact the component scores because the presentation, the judges have criteria. If there's a major error, they've got to reduce the program components. Now, their quality of skating up until that point was pushing towards the maximum 10s out of 10. They have phenomenal, phenomenal skating skills. But criteria is criteria, and major error pushes them out of the 9s. I mean, I can't believe, Ted, that happened.
Well, they are blades on ice.
Here we go. Look, is this, are we going to get...
I'm not sure. Oh, it's a dress.
Was it the dress?
It was the dress.
No way.
Yes.
And it's the dress that's been causing their American rivals issues earlier this season. When did costumes become the the caveat in ice dance, I'd love to know what Laurence just said to partner Guillaume. Yeah, the Brits applaud. They know, though, they know what the implications of that.
Everybody's a little bit stunned.
And I think there's blood on her knee as well. Poor Laurence. And we have to take into consideration, though, it's a new partnership. So you're going to you have to expect a different kind of consistency because they haven't had, whilst they have experience already, not experienced together. For Laurence, she's not had this position of being a front runner as readily as before. Maybe that, there's another factor to play.
Well, their season's best is 133.02. They will certainly fall short of that, but will they have enough to take the lead? The score, 126.69. That is first in the free dance. They still are in the lead with a 214.25. It is the season's best, even with the fall.
It's fortunate that the fall took place out with the elements, so it could have been more costly. Well, the next team have had dress issues themselves. Madison, Chock and Evan Bates have found themselves on the ice in practice here because of colliding with the dress and the toe picks.
Madison, Chock and Evan Bates.
Are they aware of what has just happened and how will that impact them? Or are they going to draw on all their experience as three-time world champions to skate cleanly and justify another Grand Prix final title? Such dynamism in their combo lift. Lovely blade control through the transition. wobble there. Well, they've done a clean skate, tiny wobble at the end of the free dance for Madison Chock and Evan Bates, but...
You know, Mark, I wondered what went through their mind when they heard the scores of Beaudry and Cizeron. Did it make them nervous about a possible mistake for themselves, or did it give them fuel?
Well, to me, Madison and Evan delivered. They stepped up and delivered. Any mistakes or any awareness of what was happening in the arena following the fall of the French team didn't detract them from doing the job in hand. This is a team that have made mistakes in international assignments before. We've seen them be vulnerable, but they've laid down. And as is customary for Madison and Evan, we see progression mid-season. Unlike some others who come into the Grand Prix series early on in the competitive calendar, hitting it hard, Madison and Evan do tend to rise and ascend as the season progresses.
They're three-time world champions for a reason, because when the moment mostly counts, they deliver, and as they did here tonight.
And it really does amass points in a different way from the French team. This interpretation, as I say, they have styled themselves in so many different genres over their multiple international seasons. And this, the piece choreographed by Marie-France de Bruin, Anthony Naharo and Sam Chouinard, they have taken and embellished and continue to develop it such that it forces the judges' hands from composition and presentation. And immediately you see the intensity required. And it's elements like this, the curve lift, that they really do excel in. This, moving forward as the season progresses, I think Madison and will just need to keep pushing the speed and the ice coverage. The twizzles are slower than others, and maybe the step sequences too. But where they have less speed and ice coverage, they have more layering of movement and embellishment. I thought the dance spin that we see now, I thought that was fast and speedy. Probably the best of the dance spins. Maybe apart from that of Emily and Vadim earlier in the event. This was the problem earlier. And Madison is renowned for her incredible styling and costume design, but it has been causing them some problems. Not today. But it looks like Evan's drawn some blood. He's got blood on his face there. I don't know if his wife, the Matador, was drawing blood from him. And that's what this team will do. This team will draw blood, sweat and tears to get themselves to be the Olympic champions in Milan.
Well, they have the season's best of 127.81. They might come close to topping that score right now. Here, the final team in the Grand Prix final in an Olympic season. And although it has no bearing on the results of future competitions, it does in the minds of the athletes as to the confidence going forward and the work that's yet to be done by some.
But in a season of surprising results and surprising scores, you can still see that Madison and Evan are wondering what is going to be rewarded and awarded to them. Pensive in the kiss and cry. Stephanie and Patrice join them.
Fiercely focused on the screen that will reveal their scores.
Do you think it's intentional, the suspense build, as they have to wait longer for their scores?
Yeah, somebody's directing. Hold it, hold it. Let's build the tension. The judges scored. There's still one more to come in. Okay, 10 of 10 now. Here comes the score. 131.68. Season's best. First in the free dance. First overall with a total competition score of 220.42. You are looking at the champions of the Grand Prix final here in Nagoya.
Well, the reigning Grand Prix final champions win again. Now 3 Grand Prix final titles for Madison Chock and Evan Bates. And it has to have been a challenging season and a roller coaster that they've been on because of the emergence of the pair, Fournier Beaudry and Guillaume Cizeron. But despite all the pressure placed upon them by the French team, they have maintain their status as the front runners, winning again.
Mark, you are exhausted, I know, because you live every step and every emotion of every one of these teams. As we take a look at the results after this event, of course, Chock and Bates and Beaudry and Césaron and Thier at Gibson move up and take the bronze.
Yeah, I think one of the, like I said at the top of this broadcast, one of the things that makes the ice dance event this season that's most exhilarating is because not just an Olympic year, but it's an Olympic year with teams that we have seen for literally decades. We're, you know, Piper and Paul, Madison and Evan have been on the international scene for so many seasons. Evan Bates is coming towards his 5th Olympic Games. And
may I have your attention here?
It makes it all the more tense as we wait to hear from them now.
I consider the winner Madison, Chock, and Evan Bates. Congratulations! Well, let us hear the voice from you two. So you two made such a beautiful atmosphere. You won the first in the first place. What do you say about that? 素晴らしい空気、雰囲気を作ってくれました。2人から、お言葉聞きたいと思います。それではマディソンさんからお願いします。
We're so grateful to be here with all of you and perform our free dance. We feel like this arena and all of you brought such an incredible energy, and we really felt that in our performance and fed off of that. So we just want to thank you for your support and for just being here. Thank you.
そうですね、皆さんにまず感謝の意を表したいと思います。このフリーダンス滑りきれたのはこのアリーナ、そして皆さんの声援があったからこそエネルギーをいただいて最後まできちんと演技ができました。応援ありがとうございました。
So Evan, that was seasonal best. What do you say about that? 先ほどは見事な演技、シーズナルベストでした。このあたりも聞いてみましょう。
We're so happy to deliver a season's best at the most important competition of the season thus far. The Grand Prix final is such a prestigious event, the top 6 in the world, and this venue and this arena is absolutely just top-notch. So we're very pleased to put out the season's best on this occasion.
そうですね、非常にこのシーズンここまでで最も大切な大会ともいえるグランプリファイナル、世界のトップ6が競い合うわけですから、その中でこのアリーナの素晴らしいお客様の皆さんの前で、このシーズンベストが出せたこと、非常に光栄に思っています。
Well, thank you very much. For the last question, you two see that a lot of Japanese fans are here. Could we have a message from you two? たくさんの人が来てくれています。メッセージをお二人からもいただきましょう。
ありがとうございました。
皆さんありがとうございます。
Okay, well, once again, congratulations. Everybody make some noise for Madison, Chock, and Evan Bates. Congratulations.
It is so interesting to hear, the interviews when you hear, the juniors to the seniors. It's so much fun. And, it's not easy when they just get off the ice after a performance and there's a microphone in your face and you have to answer the question. I think it's good for the audience. I do think it's a good part of the show. Not easy for the athletes, that's for sure.
Yeah, but Madison and Evan, such professionals as we look back at the top 3. Lilah Thier and Lewis Gibson moving up from 4th place after the rhythm dance to take the bronze medal, repeating the success that they had 12 months ago in Grenoble, France, as they continue to strive to be the first British Olympic medalists since legendary Jane Torval and Christopher Dean. 700ths of a point they took that medal by. As we look now to Laurence Fournier Beaudry and Guillaume Césaron. Now, we will not really know how things could have unfolded between this partnership and the world champions Chock and Bates because of the mistake made before this event started. We said a fall, a mistake, will rule out success, and a trip at the end of the program for Laurence.
And the interesting thing, it wasn't a trip, it was a catch of a blade on the dress that caused the fall.
Well, and we've seen dress changes for the winners, Madison, Chock and Evan Bates. The skirt of Madison has been reconditioned, reshaped because of situations they've had, what will happen for perhaps the silver medalists here when we see them next, as they likely go on to the European Championships in Sheffield. But Madison and Evan, triumphant and deservedly so in Nagoya.
What an exciting event. You know, there's tension and there's joy and there's performance and there's delight. It's the brilliance of ice dance, and how lucky were we here to witness all of that as we get the arena set up for the medal presentations coming up in just a few moments. And of course, after that, we'll feel this time mark. And after that, we will see the men's free program, followed by the women's free program, perhaps in the eyes of many here, the premier event, as they have many Japanese stars in both categories, of course.
Yes, and as we look ahead to that, we obviously are aware of the excitement in this IG arena, thanks to Yuma Kagiyama leading the men's event and Mone Chiba leading the women's event. They'll be hoping to delight the home crowd, taking titles, as Miura and Kihara, also from Japan, did in the pairs event yesterday.
You know, one of the things that I marvel at, and I'm so thrilled to see and witness as we were around the athletes, is the support of each other. I mean, it's devastating if they take a fall and they lose a medal. And I know this is not the Olympic Games. It'll be more devastating there if a situation like that unfolds. But the support of the athletes towards each other, they work together, they train together, they sweat together, you know, they go through the ups and downs together. And it's remarkable that someone that you want to beat or you want to win will be so supportive for you on a time that is difficult.
It's so true, and I think, you know, there are some old school fans of the sport that hark back to the days of drama when there was intense rivalry and battles and negativity between. But I'm proud as a skater and fan of the sport to see that maturity and professionalism between the athletes supporting one another, whilst of course being desperately eager to be the leaders.
And it helps them go through those lows if they understand, their competitors understand the highs and the lows. As we stand back a little bit to watch this presentation of the medals unfold.
ISU Grand Prix of Figure Skating Final 2025 Aichi, Nagoya. Victory ceremony, ice dance.
Senior dance medal presentation here, Mark.
Third, and the winner of the bronze.
Well, they were the first British skaters to win a medal at a Senior Grand Prix final, and they have repeated that feat. Lilah and Lewis Gibson, bronze medalists, but also, I think the most popular for the audience.
Yes.
In their rousing Scottish free dance.
But a razor-thin win, moving from fourth to third, and kudos to the Canadian teams of Piper and Paul. They were also brilliant, but it was just falling a bit short here on this night.
Yeah, Lilah and Lewis benefiting from a 707-point fraction above the Canadians, and now I suspect that we see now the battle for gold and the battle for bronze, with Lilah and Lewis going up against Piper and Paul again in Milan. But no, actually, not to forget Charlene Guinard and Marco Fabri,
Absolutely.
the Italians.
Hometown favorites
here.
in Milan.
Yeah, that's so true. We must not forget. And actually, Charlene and Marco, they're competing at the Golden Spin of Zagreb very successfully right now as well.
Second, and the winner of the silver medals from France, Fournier Beaudry and Gilles.
Well, they were second in the rhythm dance and second in the free dance. Laurence Fournier Beaudry and Guillaume Cizeron. Now, 8 years ago, in the last time a Grand Prix final took place preceding an Olympic Games, Guillaume won with his former partner, the wondrous Gabriela Papadakis, but that then paved the way, well, that then was not repeated at the subsequent Olympic Games. Will the fortunes be reversed on this occasion as we look towards the Olympics? They'll certainly need to skate cleaner than they have here to make that possible.
But clearly a team that is special.
Undoubtedly, the quality of the skating cannot be disputed. They just are the most fluid of fluid.
And although these athletes make ice dance look easy, it was proven tonight it is not easy. Anything can happen. You can hit a rut, hit a hole, or catch your pick on a dress, or simply slip off an edge. So there are no guarantees.
優勝マディソン・チョック、エヴァン・テイツ組、アメリカ。
First, and the winner of
Well,
the gold medal.
3 different nations as America's Madison, Chock and Evan Bates get introduced to take their title. But whilst 3 different nations represented on this rostrum, 3 teams all hailing from the same place, the Ice Academy of Montreal in Canada. They train together and they compete together. And yet again, Madison and Evan have come out on top.
And we should mention how incredible that is for the coaches of that location to be able to coach teams that are all vying for Olympic gold or for Olympic medal, and keep the system and the environment safe, happy, and it's a tough environment. No, there's no question. But what a remarkable job the coaches have done.
So true. And what's special is that whilst they all train together, they've got the quality of skating skill and the understanding, obviously, of what's necessary for success, but in such different vehicles. You have, you know, the Matador and the Bull, you have the Highland Scottish theme, and then you have the contemporary of the French team. They're all very, very different in their approach.
And you can see the hugs are sincere.
Yes.
And that needs something. And I wonder when these athletes take the step onto the podium here, are they thinking of the podium 3 months from now? That step, because ultimately that is the ultimate goal of athletes at this level.
Yeah, and it was interesting because Lilah and Lewis Gibson, they had acknowledged that, you know, there's so much talk for them about the Olympic Games, and for them, the European Championships, which will be held in Great Britain. But they acknowledge how it's important to be in the moment here. This is a Grand Prix final. This is a huge stage anyway, and I actually think that they, of all the medalists, did seem the most in it in the performance, perhaps, or at least the least stressed.
Yeah.
On the outward, and I'm sure they're inwardly feeling it too.
Well, these teams now will go back home. Of course, we have the exhibitions tomorrow. You won't want to miss that. We'll be on air, of course, and you know, it's so much fun watching the exhibition. You see completely different types of programs, wonderfully entertaining, so we hope you join us for that.
And that really a chance for these teams to perform again without the heavy, heavy pressure of the competition.
And these teams following this event, of course, will go home and prepare for the national championships, and then some may choose to go to the European Championship and the 4 continents, or they may not, to give themselves enough time and make sure they keep healthy, away from injury and away from sickness, because they worked this hard their whole lives to have that Olympic chance. And you want to make sure that you are in the most optimum position or health, if you will, when you step onto the ice at the Olympic Games.
So true, and of course that's something that some of the teams are battling. There are niggling injuries that have been occurring. We need to keep those at bay.
So we hear the national anthem of the champions.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, please stand for the national anthem of the winners.
As an athlete, there's nothing like standing on top of the podium and hearing your national anthem and seeing your flag raised to the ceiling. They never get tired of having that in their life.
It is now 2 months and 3 days till the start of the Olympic ice dance event. Not long separates the 6 skaters on the medal podium from the biggest event of their lives.
And the audience here has been absolutely fantastic. They always are here in Japan, of course, but they get really excited in the dance event. There's so much energy and so much entertainment, and you know, it's so much fun to be in this building right now. There's at least 10,000 fans in this building. All the seats are full. There's 2 more premier events coming up, of course, the men's free program and the women's free program. So lots more to come as we will stand by for the medal presentations of 2 of the junior events.
Lovely. I love seeing it. Madison and Laurence there. 2 amazing women holding hands united.
The junior pair and junior dance medal presentations coming up in just a few moments following this. And we hope fans from around the world, wherever you're watching, that you have been enjoying the sport of figure skating. It is remarkable, and we know, and the ISU knows, that to understand more, that they need to provide more information and more data. We like to know how fast the skater goes, how high do they jump, all the details that we see the skaters perform so effortlessly, which is with such difficulty. We want to bring that feeling, that understanding to the fans around the world, because it is an extraordinary, extraordinary sport, which I think, personally, maybe I'm a little bit biased, is a little underappreciated.
Well, that's something that the quad god Ilya Malinin is really keen to try to push, as is the case for all of the skaters, and certainly everybody behind the scenes eager to see how best we can represent the incredible feats of the athletes.
You know, every athlete in every sport works so hard for a big part of their life to make the Olympic Games or a World Championship. But because we've lived it, Mark, and we see skaters at the rink at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning because the rest of the day is owned by hockey, right? So you have to go to the rink very early in cold conditions and situations and train and train and train, recover from an injury, come back after school, get back on the ice, work your choreography for years and years and years, just really decades to get to this level.
Yes, and the ice dancers, truly decades of life and resolute commitment. And whilst, of course, the training doesn't consume the entire day, then even when they are not training, this caliber of athlete is really conscious of recovery as well. And that's something that we have seen in and around this IG arena. We have seen psychologists as support network teams. We have seen dedicated strength training people coming to support the athletes on site. We've seen dedicated physiotherapists to ensure that they are optimally physically prepped and mentally prepped as well. So
and the ISU are very cognizant of the responsibility and the need of these athletes to have a safe zone, to have a quiet zone for the athletes to recover.
Yeah, the safe zone, an increasingly commonplace for the skaters as part of the Go ISU initiative, the Vision 2030, whereby safeguarding is something that they are extremely conscious of, trying to support the athletes' mental health and well-being.
Of course, every medal ceremony after that, the athletes take sort of a victory lap, and on all their teammates and family come down to the boards and grab a picture as they wrap themselves in their nation's flag. And it's such a wonderful moment for the athlete and for all those that have supported the athletes, federations too. I mean, it's not just friends and family. These national federations spend a lot of time and effort. They send doctors and physiotherapists with these teams to these events to make sure that they take care of the athletes to the highest level.
And there we see some of those that are here, part of the support network for the skaters as they vacate the scene to prepare for the juniors to have their moment to shine.
And what's cool about the next set of presentations, the medals for the juniors, they are your next Olympians. And believe me, they are highly skilled. And they're in their early stages of development at a high performance level. And we've witnessed some terrific performances in the junior categories this week, Mark.
And for the juniors, as we look towards seeing them receive and achieve their medals, for them, this very experience will be an accelerator to their progression, because to see the likes of Madison, Chock and Evan Bates live is something that will inspire and motivate them to demand more.
And you know, it's interesting, Mark, we travel on the Junior Grand Prix, we go around, and we go to the medal presentations at a rink, you know, whether it's in Riga or Ankara or Bangkok or whatever the case, and they do a wonderful job to make that present, but there's nothing like this type of presentation. This is the first time juniors will step on ice for a medal presentation surrounded by 10,000 fans in the audience. The lights will come on, their national anthem will be played. You know, there's television coverage worldwide and streaming as well. I mean, it's a big stage.
The hugest of stages, and it was really evident in the junior free dance that there was almost an elation from some of the performers because it's so novel. The senior free dance, which we have just witnessed, was wondrous, but perhaps not the same kind of innocent excitement because they're so much more experienced at this.
As we join the junior pairs victory ceremony starting right now, of course, they've been here with the seniors and the other junior categories this week in Nagoya, demonstrating their skills and battling for podium positions, but most importantly, learning what it takes to be a high-performance athlete as they watch their teammates, the seniors, in this event as well.
ただいまより ISU グランプリファイナル国際フィギュアスケート競技大会愛知名古屋2025ジュニアペアの表彰式を開始いたします。
ISU Grand Prix of Figure Skating Final 2025 Aichi, Nagoya.
And backstage right now where the seniors are mixing with the juniors are coming onto the ice, the seniors are coming off the ice, all in an exciting, and surrounded by hundreds of media here. It's a huge media attendance at this event. Our medalists, the bronze medalists, Eva Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov of Canada.
And Jonathan Elizarov.
And Eva and Jonathan, bronze medalists here, perhaps a little disappointed. They came in as the front runners, but had some less than ideal performances, as is ever the case though. A rocky road toward the senior category that is never completely clean, clear, and under control.
But if this team skates clean, they didn't here, but if they skate clean, they're a threat for the top spot.
Yes, indeed, and their program component scores were the second highest, actually, to Canada's Jasmine De Rocher and Kieran Thrasher, who were third in the free skate. On this occasion, Eva and Jonathan fourth, above their compatriots on today, but overall enough to clinch the bronze medal.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned about the disappointment in coming third. It's still a medal, you know, in the podium at a premier event like this.
Second, and the winner of the silver medals from China, Xuanqi Zhang and Wenchang Pu.
And Zhang and Feng and their Notre Dame de Paris free skate, enough to take the silver. They showcasing, again, continued success for Chinese pair teams, and as you mentioned, Ted, this very much a sign of what is to come in the senior ranks. And indeed, the lineage continues there. Choreographer Wen Jingsui, the Olympic champion, involved in supporting this, the next generation. And no Chinese pair team in the senior Grand Prix final in Nagoya, Japan this week. But I suspect it won't be too long until we see a team like this competing in the senior ranks. At 14 years of age, Zhang has to wait another 3 seasons before she'll be age eligible to join her partner.
And I mentioned that a little earlier. Can you imagine this team 3 years from now?
Yeah.
They're already good. They're already on the podiums, but lots of development yet to come.
First and winner of the gold.
And to the winners, Rui Guo and Yuan Zhang. They were just sensational. Their opening quadruple twist, given a level 3, had grades of execution that were +4 out of 5. Their score on that one element, I think, Ted, I need to double check the stats, but I think that might be one of the highest ever scoring twist lift elements ever.
Well, it makes sense. Level 4 and a high GOE.
Yeah, just an amazing, amazing feat.
And you know, the size of their throws equals almost the size of that quad twist. So they are armed with some terrific, high-risk, difficult elements as they will enter the second half of their season and look towards the Junior World Championships in Tallinn, Estonia in early March.
And interestingly, it was a Chinese team that won the Junior Grand Prix final last year in Grenoble, France, and then Georgians that won the World Junior Championships by the time of March earlier this year. How will things unfold this season? Last season, there were senior teams that jumped down to juniors for the World Championships, but I think it's likely that it will be the skaters on the podium now that are contending for that title in Tallinn, Estonia.
Who will award the medals.
And you wonder, or we kind of know, you know, these athletes being so young and they're at the special moment, they're really thrilled to be here, no question. Do they know, because the rest of the life goes up and down and all around after their skating career, what it is to have a medal hung around their neck, as we see right now happening to them, and they'll stand there with the photographers and their flags being raised. It's something very special, and you love it at the moment, but you appreciate it more a little bit later in life.
Oh gosh, I'm sure if they could bottle up this moment, it'd be lovely to replay as many times as possible at later stages.
Well, I remember winning a medal internationally, standing on little, actually wooden boxes for the podium in those days. But when you hear your national anthem, there is nothing like it. You're sort of consumed with, you know, all these emotions, and it's a wonderful feeling and a goal of all these athletes.
They're the president of the Japanese Skating Federation. They have a big job coming up because the national championships in Japan taking place in a week or so's time, and that will be an intensely battled event.
And think about that, not just from the athlete's perspective, but from the organization perspective. The junior national championships happened, I believe, last week.
Yes.
Here, the Grand Prix final, both junior and senior, this week, and then the national junior and senior championships, or senior championships next week. That's a lot for an organization to handle.
Yeah, there is so much that goes behind the scenes. The organization of the skaters, their coaches, the officials at the hotels. It is a mammoth operation.
But they're so efficient here in Japan. It's one of the reasons athletes love to come here. We stand for the national anthem of the winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, please stand for the national anthem of the winners. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your medalists.
Well, as the official pictures are being taken, just a reminder that we will have one more junior medal event or medal presentation, the junior dance. And after that, there'll be a nice resurfacing, and then the senior men will take to the ice, and they'll be followed by the senior women. And we are looking forward to that event. Now, we watched, and this is interesting as we fill a little bit of time here in the transition. You know, Mark, we were able to sit on the judges' stand earlier today as we were watching the practice session. And I've skated all my life and, you know, lived in the sport. And when you sit down on the judges' stand, and we don't do that very often, obviously. When we were sitting there and you felt the wind, it was like a current wind storm down there. The speed of the athletes, the height of the jumps, you know, the efficiency in the air of rotation, the softness of the knees when they land, it is spectacular. And I wish every fan could be that close, because then they would begin to understand how difficult, how risky, how brave, how courageous these athletes are in doing what they do on a thin blade on ice.
It really is an extra sensory experience to be ringside at an official practice. You see their brilliance, you feel, as you say, the rush of the wind past you as they skate by, and you hear the sound of the explosive jumping passes that we saw earlier today. So it is just mind-boggling what is happening, and as we continue to see advancements both technically and artistically, it is a call to action for people to attend any event that they can.
Yeah, and you know, I don't say that just, you know, as a fan not knowing it. I skated at the world level in the dark ages, and you skated at the European level. So we've been at that level in different centuries. But
yeah, well, my World Championships was 2010, and I was watching the Olympics from 2010 earlier today as a reference point, and it's very visible and evident from that level of championships at the world stage 16 years ago, how things are progressing, and the skaters certainly now all advancing and pushing boundaries.
You know, it's one of the things that we know because we've lived, okay, I know more because I've lived longer than you have for sure, but these young athletes on the ice, when you take, I wish they knew the history, more of the history of our sport. They could see, well, where was the first axel done and how was it done? Well, first of all, they would laugh like crazy, but then they would understand kind of the birth and growth of our sport and who discovered what and who, you know, why did they think of that move? In fact, in some of those videos back in the 20s and 30s, there were some moves done that you don't see today that if they did see, they would repeat them because they were very creative, very cool. Not as risky and dynamic perhaps, but very creative.
Yeah, having a real understanding of your craft and an education in the history of this medium of movement can really enhance the skaters.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, in school, all of these young people go to school and they learn languages, they learn, you know, math, they learn sciences, and here they are in a sport, and many of them don't know where it came from and the history of that sport. And I think it's a good thing. I believe the organization, the ISU, will be, you know, following up on that and trying to provide some more historical perspective of those who have gone before and who have set the stage for the development of the sport in all of these disciplines.
Yeah, and as we marvel at the advancements being made, there are still ways in which the athletes can learn from those that came before, and I think watching this pairs event, there's still something to be amassed in terms of quality from the likes of Gordeeva and Grinkov, Olympic champions in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, one of the great performances in the 1988 Winter Olympic Games in Calgary, Gordeeva and Grinkov.
And referencing that was the inspiration in part for Eva Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov and part of their free skate today. So.
Yeah. As these athletes are at the ringside getting pictures from their families and from their team leaders, and they will vacate the ice in just a few moments, and we'll have the final victory ceremonies with the junior ice dance.
What a day really for the junior ice dancers. They competing just before the senior event, and I'm sure for those medalists that we're about to see take to the centre ice to achieve their awards, you wonder if almost for them the enormity of the occasion and winning a medal at the Junior Grand Prix final prevented them from being present to appreciate what took place just moments later with the senior event.
Well, so many of the fans still in their seats, which is really a tribute to them. Paying attention to and encouraging and applauding the winners of these events in both junior and senior categories.
Or perhaps not wanting to lose their spot to watch the men's event and the women's event that's coming up.
That's also a good point. And that's pretty exciting with so many wonderful Japanese athletes in contention for gold and medals here in a field of 6. I have to admit, Mark, the LED boards have been very impressive.
Yeah, really fantastic, and setting the stage so beautifully.
As we join the victory ceremony for the junior ice dance,
Figure Skating Final 2025, Aichi, Nagoya.
which was one of the events, the second event here on the final day of competition. And just a reminder, of course, tomorrow we will be covering the exhibition. You won't want to miss that because that is so much fun from so many excellent athletes, both in junior and senior. And here, the bronze medal winners, Irina Pegina and Artem Koval of Ukraine.
And Irina Pegina and Artem Koval were second after the rhythm dance, fourth in the free dance, and coming away with the bronze medal, moving up one spot from their 4th place finish 12 months ago in France at the Junior Grand Prix Final 2024. They did have the 2nd highest program component score, so some technical element score issues for this Ukrainian team that they will be eager to rectify by the time of the Junior World Championships in Tallinn, Estonia, and that takes place between the 3rd and the 8th of March.
And the team winning the silver medal
Second, and the winner of the silver
from
medal
France, Ambra Perrier, Giacchini, and Samuel Blanc-Klapperman, skating to the theme of Tarzan. And boy, did they keep the intensity of the jungle and Tarzan throughout that program. They were intense. It was wonderful.
Yes, she, her first year in her business bachelor's degree. He already has a business degree with a focus on finance, but managing to juggle that education with the brilliant skating.
Isn't that amazing? He could be in an office doing finance, all dressed with a suit and tie. Then he comes to the rink and here he is in Tarzan, right? So, yeah, it's pretty wonderful. They're not just skaters. They're excellence in anything that they choose to do. Many of them scholastics, some in the arts field. And boy, I tell you, if I was running a business, I'd hire a figure skater any day, because you learn to cope with, you know, failures and challenges and have to resolve issues throughout your life. That's the type of skill that you want in many walks of life.
Ambra and Samuel moving up above the Ukrainians, but the winners, Hanna Maria Aboyan and Daniil Veslukin, they were 7th at the World Junior Championships earlier this year, behind the Ukrainians who were 4th, but they have excelled throughout this Grand Prix series, showcasing characterization every time we see them. And maybe they set the precedence for the way in which a skater is welcome to the arena.
Well, they understand the concept of a show and entertainment and character, and they carry it all the way through.
And where the movements within the standings of this junior ice dance event shuffled and changed for every other team, Hanna, Maria and Daniil stayed the same, consistent in winning both programs, the rhythm dance and the free dance, and consistent now in cementing their position as favourites for a junior world title to match that of their training mates, Noemi Maria Tale and Noah Lafornara, who won gold last season.
Well, all of these athletes have 3 more months to prepare for the Junior World Championships. Of course, they'll be watching in earnest the Olympic Games and seeing many of their colleagues on their national teams, and many of the athletes they've met here in this week and pursue their Olympic dream. They will continue their preparation for the Junior World Championships in Tallinn, Estonia in early March.
メダルはギョルギ・エレック国際スケート連盟代表より授与されます。
Please welcome the ISU representative, Mr. Georgi Elek, who will award the medals.
Well, we started covering the Junior Grand Prix mark in, I believe it was August 18th or 19th. The sun was out, it was hot, and it was humid, and we started our journey with many of these athletes several months ago, and seen them when they first come out of their summer training onto the Junior Grand Prix stage. And, you know, it was early on in their development of this year. And here we see them at the end of the first half of the season at their peak.
Running the gauntlet of international assignments and
winning the medals here at the Grand Prix final. And what an honor and privilege for them to be here with the seniors.
Please welcome the president of the Japan Skating Federation.
Winning prize money as well. So for the American team that won, they have $9,000. The French team, $7,500, and the Ukrainians $6,000 for their bronze medal at a Junior Grand Prix final. That's something that is new. Unlike the seniors who are more accustomed to prize money, it's a likely first time for these skaters.
Well, they do get prize money on the Junior Grand Prix. It's less, of course, but they split that, right? You gave that number, then they split it between the two. Just want to clarify.
Oh, yeah, not each. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, exactly. As we stand in recognition of the national anthem of the winners.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, please stand for the national anthem of the winners. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your medalists.
Well, the fans still in the stands waving their iPhone lights with the lights on, keeping the energy in the building. There's a lot of joy. But there's 12 athletes backstage preparing, warming up for their final free skates. Men will skate first, and then the women after that. And we'll begin to look towards closing out day number 2 here in Nagoya, or day number 3, the final day of competition, Nagoya. We're going to step aside and take a short break. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage of the senior dance and all the medal ceremonies up to this point with the men and women, the senior men and senior women yet to compete. We'll be back in about 30 minutes.
だいまより整氷のため休憩いたします。次の男子シングルフリースケーティングの競技は20時より開始いたします。
And this concludes the victory ceremony. The men free skating is coming up next after a short intermission.
ISU Grand Prix Figure Skating Final 愛知名古屋2025改めまして皆さん盛り上がってますか？そして僕の隣にはお二人今日もうずっと一緒にやってきてくれています、本田さんと村本さんです。お二人、引き続きよろしくお願いします。よろしくお願いします。ですね、ここからの時間は皆さんと一緒に楽しい時間を過ごしていきたいなと思ってるんですよ。なんと今回の大会は、